is the where these glands are located. For example, pituitary gland is here, number one. So that number one is here. So this is this, and this is this. This is this. This is this. So this is what it is. Now, this one is the pituitary gland, right? And see, this is infundibulum, hypothalamus is right there. And as I mentioned, there is a posterior pituitary and there is anterior pituitary. Now, this is something important to remember. This is anterior. Why? Because you see these cells. All the hormones of anterior pituitary are produced by the cells which are here and released from here. So you can see these 7 hormones. This is posterior because you only see these tubes. Because these hormones, 2 hormones are not produced here, so those cells are not here. It looks only like a tube. Where those cells are? In the hypothalamus. That is why I was saying, if I ask you how many hormones are produced here, none. 0. Because they are produced here, simply released from here. Right? And these cells are here. Now, and we talked about the hormones too. Now, this is the thyroid gland. This is sound box where you see the Adam's apple, not so prominent in women. And right below the sound box, you have the thyroid gland. Sound box is here, thyroid gland. Thyroid gland looks like this, and thyroid gland produces 2 hormones. Number one is thyroxine, and thyroxine, what does it do? Induces metabolism, produces energy. We just talked about. Another hormone released from here is calcitonin. Calcitonin induces osteoblast cells to make bone. If you bone. Remember we were talking about osteoblast cell and osteoclast cell. Blast make bone, clast dissolve it. So the hormone that makes bone is the calcitonin, also released from thyroid, but its major hormone is thyroxine that induces metabolism. Right? Now, this is the thyroid gland and it is sitting right here, like this. So this is thyroid gland. What you see is the front of the thyroid gland, but not the front. If you go towards the back, right here, posterior side, then what you will see is this. So this is the anterior view and this is the posterior view, and on the posterior side there are 4 bumps, these right here, and they are called parathyroid gland. Right? So parathyroid gland is sitting on the thyroid gland, but not on the anterior side, but on the posterior side. So if you look at, you will not see the parathyroid gland. You take the thyroid gland out and look on the other side, that's where you will see 4 P-like thyroid, parathyroid. And this parathyroid gland releases the hormone which is also parathyroid hormone. So name is, gland is parathyroid, name of the hormone is parathyroid gland. And that parathyroid gland, it dissolves the bone by inducing osteoclast cells, and the concentration of calcium goes up in the blood. So when calcitonin is released, bone is made, calcium concentration goes down. When parathyroid is released, bone is dissolved, the concentration of calcium goes up in the blood because it is released from the bone. Right? Now, this here is the pancreas. So this is pancreas, this is pancreas. But what you need to notice that this pancreas is very different from this. Why? Because pancreas, as we were talking about, 99% of exocrine makes enzyme. Only 1% is endocrine, makes hormone. That 1% is located like a tiny islands, right, on the pancreas. And each island looks like this. And in this island, it is called pancreatic islet. Pancreatic islet. And pancreatic islet is like this. It makes only 1% of the pancreas. And pancreatic island have these cells which are alpha cells and beta cells. But you don't need to identify them here. Which one is alpha, which one is beta. However, you need to know that beta cell secretes the hormone insulin.
Beta cell?
Beta cells. And alpha cell secretes the hormone glucagon. Right? Glucagon. And these two hormones work against each other. When there is excess glucose in our body, that excess glucose is converted into glycogen, and that glycogen is stored for a rainy day. That is done by insulin. But glucagon does the opposite. When the rainy day is there, then glucagon converts that glycogen back into glucose so that it can use that glucose. So too much sugar, insulin converts it to glycogen and it is stored. Where it is stored? In our liver, in our skeletal muscles. And the day we are busy with work, we don't have time for lunch, we skip the lunch, but our body needs sugar for energy all the time. That glycogen is converted back into the glucose by another hormone released by alpha cell, and that is glucagon. Okay? That is done. Then this is ovary. And ovary, guys, is also a reproductive organ, produces egg, and it is also an endocrine gland because it secretes two hormones. Number one is estrogen. Number two is progesterone. Estrogen is released at the time of puberty, and secondary sex characteristics of female may appear at the time, such as the enlargement of breast, because of estrogen, right? And the progesterone is also released from the ovary, but its job is to make the uterus ready for a possible pregnancy. As long as the egg is growing, estrogen is being released. As soon as the egg is released, progesterone is released. Because egg has been released, right? It is possible it may get fertilized. So the progesterone is released, it keeps the uterine watery. And we will talk about what does that mean, right? Progesterone is released for the next 12 days. And if the ovary thinks that these guys are doing it for fun, they are not really want to have a baby, then secretion of progesterone will stop, right? All right, so 2 hormones from the testes, 1 hormone, the testosterone. For that reason, it is also in endocrine gland, and testosterone, male sex characteristic, and
Testosterone. That's what I say.
behavior, sexual behavior. Now, the adrenal gland, you know the location, it is sitting right on top of the kidney. It's like kidney is wearing a cap, and that's the adrenal gland. And adrenal gland has 2 centers, 2 areas. The pink one you can see inside is medulla. And you see the yellow one on the outside, that is cortex.
Score?
Cortex. Remember adrenocorticotropic hormone. Cortex. This yellow area. And this is medulla. Medulla secretes 2 hormones, epinephrine and norepinephrine. They are released at the time of fight or flight situation. In both cases, you need energy, and that is provided by epinephrine or epinephrine. Emergency situation hormones, also known as adrenaline, right? The cortex secretes 3 hormones. Number 1, mineralocorticoid, which is aldosterone. Mineralocorticoid is the group, and name of the hormone is called aldosterone. It is released. Cortex has 3 layers. It is released from the outermost layer, which is called zona glomerulosa. We'll talk about that later. So zona glomerulosa, it secretes the aldosterone. And the job of aldosterone is to take the salt out from the urine, right? Salt out. Because when you need water, your blood needs to be made thick. Because when blood is thick, you feel thirsty, you drink water. So when you need water, the salt is taken out from the urine, which was going out of the body, and it is kept in the blood, in the body, so that blood becomes thick, and then thirst center is on, you drink water. Right? The second hormone from second layer, we just talked about the cortisol. There is another region here, which is the zona fasciculata, and from that zona fasciculata, the another hormone is released, which is a glucocorticoid, an example cortisol. It is anti-allergic. This is the one which is injected into joints or the sole in the case of extreme pain. So because it is anti-allergic, it is anti-inflammatory. So when people have joint pain or pain in the foot, this is given to do the anti-inflammatory action and the pain is gone. Right? This is hormone, this is the hormone also released when we have less sugar. It converts our body protein into sugar. And this is the hormone which is released at the time of stress. And that may lead to high blood pressure. The people who are always very concerned, oh, what will happen to my job? Who was my boyfriend? Oh, I can see my girlfriend around today. So they are always worried about things, of family matters, this and that. That stressful situation is bad because of this hormone, glucocorticoids. Because at the stress time, this hormone is released a lot. And this hormone is the one that may cause increase in your blood sugar, that may increase the high blood pressure. So this is why people who stay worried, they should not be worried all the time. Your attitude should be okay. Whatever happens, happens. I will do my best. Whatever I can practically, that's what you can do. Being worried, concerned, and doesn't do anything. Live your life, be happy, enjoy, have fun. And whatever you can do with your cool mind, just do it. And also do a lot of exercise. Because when you do workout, this hormone concentration goes down in the body. And that's what keeps you healthy. The chances of worrying too much and the abnormalities because of your worrying too much is reduced. All right, then the third reason, it is called zona reticularis, and it releases sex hormones. What it means, like I have adrenal gland, you have adrenal gland, male have adrenal gland, female have adrenal gland, and it is secreting both male and female hormones. Like women are also getting testosterone from here, and males are also getting estrogen from here. But in such a small quantity that it does not show the effects. Right? But if there is a tumor or some kind of growth inside the adrenal gland, and this gland becomes lot of sex hormone is released, that's when you will see that women can grow beard. Right? And they are always worried about not having hair. They go to the beauty salon, go through the process, she puts all that thing. When I look at my wife, I'm going through that, I get pain. What is this? Well, but they can even get muscle if a lot of sex hormone is released. On the other hand, testosterone quantity in female is very important because the female sexual libido is because of the testosterone in their body. Women who are not sexually active or who always have a headache, they may be deficient. They may be deficient of this testosterone.
That's one of the same.
Right?